As the sole holy son of a premier cultivation clan, you have defied your entire family's opposition to insist on taking the century-old ancestor of a decaying house as your concubine. Everyone assumes you have a perverse taste for older women. But you alone know that this ancestor's clan is destined to give birth to a child of destiny. When that day arrives, you and your entire clan will become nothing more than stepping stones for his ascent, hunted down and eradicated. Yet by marrying their ancestor, you will not only ensure your own survival, but perhaps even bask in the reflected glory of his rise. With this thought in mind, you raise your head to look at your father. Father, I must take Su Wanyan as my concubine, if not, I shall renounce my path to cultivate the sunflower manual. No sooner had these words left your lips than Lu Tianxing erupted in a fit of rage. You insolent brat, it seems you are itching for a beating. Are you aware of what you are saying? That Su Wanyan is 200 or 300 years older than your own father. Tell me, what am I supposed to call her then? Having finished, he prepared to discipline his unfilial son, but your mother intervened, blocking his path with a single hand. What is the rush? I find this suggestion rather interesting. Jingyuan is no longer a child. It is time for him to experience the ways of the mortal world. What does a difference in age matter? After all, she is only one person. Do you not wish to hold your grandchildren soon? At these words, Lu Tianxing immediately fell silent. Because your constitution was so poor that you were labeled a useless, talentless waste, the need for a grandchild to carry on the family lineage had long been his greatest obsession. Fine, let her handle it. I cannot bring myself to show my face in this matter. He flicked his sleeves and stormed off, leaving mother and son behind as the atmosphere instantly softened. Jingyuan, tell mother, what brought about this sudden idea? Are you truly captivated by Su Wanyan's beauty, or is there more to it? I have heard that woman has not appeared in public for 200 or 300 years. How could you have possibly met her? Observing the inquisitive expression on Shen Jiahua's face, you helplessly shake your head. The truth behind this cannot be spoken. If this doting mother were to discover the reality, there is no telling what chaos she might cause. With Shen Jiahua's saint-stage cultivation, crushing the Su clan would be as easy as turning over one's hand. But while destroying the Su clan is simple, killing Su Longshan would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. According to the records within the 9 Heavens Dragon Mirror that you obtained upon your transmigration, after your death, the Lu clan exerted its full strength, yet failed to slay the Child of Destiny, Su Longshan. At the critical moment, he inadvertently triggered a teleportation array. Not only did he survive, but he also obtained a heaven-sent opportunity, eventually returning a century later to seek vengeance for the Su family. Do not fret over this any longer. The most pressing matter now is to expedite this marriage, as long as you can ensure Su Wanyan becomes my concubine. Within 2 years, I guarantee you will be holding a healthy grandson in your arms. Upon hearing this, Shen Jiahua's eyes lit up immediately. Very well. She then raised her index finger to write in the air. Though the movement appeared effortless, the skies above Yunxiao City were thrown into turmoil the moment she acted. First, turbulent dark clouds gathered and surged forth. Next, a brilliant golden imperial decree, formed by the condensation of spiritual energy, slowly materialized before everyone's eyes. The content written by Shen Jiahua appeared upon the scroll. Head of the Su family, heed this command. My son Jing Yuan has taken a fancy to your family's ancestor. I command that she be taken as a concubine 3 days from now. Within these 3 days, your Su family must personally deliver your ancestor to my son's bedchamber. This divine decree of Yunxiao City is the highest order in the central region. With just a single glance, some onlookers recognized the origin of the decree. Is there truly someone named Su Wanyan in the Su family? I have never heard of her. Friend, you are showing your age. This Su Wanyan is the very ancestor of the Su family. It is precisely because of her existence that the Su family has managed to barely secure a foothold among the second-rate powers. In my youth, I was fortunate enough to witness the peerless beauty of Su Wanyan. At that time, there was a widespread saying, a single glimpse of Wanyan and one's life is forever changed. At this moment, chaos erupted within the Su manor. The ancestor is the pillar of the Su family. How could she possibly be married off as a concubine? There is no need to discuss this any further. Our Su family's internal affairs have always followed the system of collective deliberation. Since when has it become a matter for you alone to decide? Family head, I agree with your sentiment. Let the ancestor marry that boy as a concubine. It is truly a heaven-sent humiliation, but if you wish to preserve our prestige, you must find a way to deal with the Lu family. The Su family split into 2 factions, arguing irreconcilably until suddenly everyone went silent. A voice that seemed capable of piercing the heavens and the earth suddenly resonated through the hall. A woman appeared out of thin air within the assembly hall. It was the ancestor. The entire Su family immediately knelt to the ground, their demeanor filled with profound reverence. However, there is an exception to every rule. With the disposition of a protagonist, Su Lingchen was not as docile as the others, but the moment he raised his head, he was struck dumb. Heavens, how could she be so breathtakingly beautiful? This will not do. She must absolutely not be married off to Lu Jingyuan. She belongs to me and no one is permitted to take her away. At the same time, the ring on the ring finger of his right hand glowed faintly. To his great delight, his master supported this line of thinking. Her true phoenix constitution will be of immense benefit to the Fen Tianjue technique you cultivate. Just as Su Lingchen was about to ask how to pursue Su Wanyan, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. You may go and prepare. I shall be married off in 3 days. The faction favoring the marriage was overjoyed. They envisioned a bright future ahead, but Su Wanli and Su Lingchen, this father and son duo, were struck with terror. Old Ancestor, this must never happen. At the very worst, we shall fight the Lu family to the death. Upon hearing this, Su Wan smiled wanly. You do not truly believe I am doing this to protect the clan, do you? Su Wanli was stunned. Is that not the case? Naturally, it is not. I have been lost in thought, simply to calculate the price at which I should sell myself. Prestige may be important to you, but in my eyes it is not worth a single copper. My current cultivation level is at the middle stage of the Wangjia realm. Who among them can help me achieve a breakthrough to the Nipan realm? Do not speak of marrying a mere boy. Even if I had to marry a swine, it would be of no consequence. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye, and the Su family's bridal sedan chair soon arrived at the side gate of the Lu mansion. Since Su Wanyan was, after all, merely a concubine, she possessed no qualifications to enter through the main gate. Furthermore, the entire process of entering the mansion was devoid of any grand welcoming ceremony. The only person from the Lu family present to receive them was a woman who appeared to be in her 30s. Yet even so, the members of the Su family felt honored, bordering on fearful. This was because the woman was a powerhouse at the peak of the Nipan realm, surpassing their own old ancestor by an entire major cultivation stage. Very well, you may set the sedan down. Young mistress will come with me. The rest of you may proceed directly to the dining hall. We at the Lu mansion have prepared plenty of fine food for all of you. Su Wanyan was more proactive than anyone else. The moment the sedan touched the ground, she lifted the curtain and stepped out. Senior, I leave the guiding to you. In truth, Su Wanyan was much older than this woman, but in this world the strong reign supreme and age counts for nothing. However, at this very moment, the woman's attitude shifted. You are too modest, young mistress. I am but a steward of the Lu estate. I dare not accept such a title as senior. From now on, you may simply address me as Xiao Yun. Su Yanyan was momentarily stunned. This powerhouse at the Nirvana realm was actually flattering her. However, she quickly understood he was not flattering her, but the prestige of her status as the young mistress. It seemed the benefits she would reap from marrying you far exceeded her initial estimations, and the thought only fueled her excitement. Two women of equal cunning, they walked hand in hand toward your courtyard. Young master, the young mistress has arrived. There was no reply, for at that moment you were completely captivated by the beauty of Su Yanyan. Back on Blue Planet, how could a man like you ever hope to taste such sweet fruit? With that thought in mind, you pulled Su Yanyan into your embrace. Steward Xiao Yun, sensing the mood, tactfully withdrew. Tell me, what is it that you desire? You buried your face in her hair, your expression intoxicated, though your mind remained remarkably clear. You understood perfectly. This woman agreed to marry you purely for the sake of benefit. As for affection, it was best left unmentioned. After the recent experience, Su Yanyan also realized that as long as she served you well, everything she had once craved but could never obtain would easily be within her reach. Husband, a moment of a spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Whatever matters you have, let us discuss them tomorrow. Right now, what we should be doing is exploring the origins of humanity. Having said this, she even reached out to brush her leg against yours. As for this part, my brothers, I shall watch it on your behalf since it is not something suitable for public display. In a tavern outside the Lu estate, Su Lingchen sat by the window, drowning his sorrows in wine, already partially intoxicated. Lu Jingyuan, you are truly daring. To dare lay a hand on the woman I had set my sights upon. And as for that Su Yanyan, she is truly shameless. To achieve power, she would even sell her own body. The more he spoke, the more agitated he became. According to his original plan, he should have already seized the bride by now. But those words from Su Yanyan had completely extinguished his resolve. No matter how fortunate he was, he could not possibly abduct someone who refused to cooperate from the heart of the Lu estate. At that same moment, a phantom of a phoenix appeared above the center of the Lu estate, its cry echoing toward the heavens. The true phoenix cry! Su Lingchen slammed his fist onto the table before him, shattering it. Disciple, you must stabilize your heart and mind. If you continue down this path, a heart demon will surely manifest. A surge of icy energy flooded his brain. How dangerous. Disciple, remember this. Power is like one's limbs, while women are like clothing. As long as your limbs remain, why worry about having no clothes to wear? Even if you desire Su Yanyan, simply wait until your strength has grown, then return and take her for yourself. Su Lingchen's eyes brightened, though only a few seconds later, they dimmed once more. In that case, it is merely something that has already been used by another. You do not understand. A woman with vast experience is truly a top-tier treasure. Very well, you should focus on rapidly increasing your strength. At this moment, inside your chamber, you glance at the soundly sleeping Su Yanyan and offer a faint smile before turning your focus to the red lotus tome within your mind. Unlike the pure white pages of before, the 34th page is now transformed into a full-color portrait of Su Yanyan with a line of text appearing beside it. Name, Su Yanyan, realm, peak of the sovereign stage, beauty, annotations present. This woman is a pragmatist. When your strength exceeds hers, you are essentially the heavens to her. The introduction is quite detailed. Not bad at all. With this, I need not fear being stabbed in the back. Your gaze falls upon the 3 7-colored treasure chests at the bottom of the page. These are likely the rewards for subduing Su Yanyan. You open the 3 chests one by one. Fortune plundering technique. When competing against a child of destiny, if your cultivation is 1 level higher, you may plunder a portion of their fortune for your own use. Annotation. Fortune is profoundly mystical. The greater one's fortune, the more opportunities one shall encounter. Aura observation technique. The fortune of gods and devils is unpredictable. It can be generally divided into 7 tiers. Red, orange, yellow. Remember, should you encounter someone with stronger fortune than your own, flee immediately lest you face a great catastrophe. Forbidden body. A transcendent constitution beyond the 3 realms, not governed by the 5 elements. Those who possess this constitution advance 1,000 miles in a single day and have a limitless future. Yet they shall be envied by all living beings and even forsaken by the heavens and the earth. Upon receiving the first 2 rewards, there was no reaction at all. But as the forbidden body merged into your being, the heavens and earth immediately shifted. The small courtyard where you reside was instantly reduced to dust by a lightning strike. Suwanyan, who had been feigning sleep, was thrown back by the shockwave. Just as Suwanyan was about to fall into the water, the spiritual energy of the world rushed towards you with such ferocity that it formed a massive vortex around your body. What is happening? Within a few short seconds, the area was crowded with high-level experts. Shen Jiaohua, worried for her son, rushed over to inquire, yet she received no answer, for the only person who knew the truth was left stunned and speechless. Su Yuanyin is an ancestor of the Su clan and considers herself well-traveled, yet this scene before her eyes was truly something she had never witnessed. Even the weakest expert present here could easily end her life. Is this the true strength of an undying clan? Where is the propriety in all of this? Answer my question at once. Su Yuanyin was startled and hurriedly replied with reverence, "Senior, you need not be concerned. The reason for such a great disturbance is that after Jing Yuan was with me, his hidden bloodline awakened, and he is currently in the process of a breakthrough." Shen Jiaohua immediately observed him closely. After confirming that Su Yuanyin's words were true, she was completely stunned. The fact that his aptitude was poor had always been a thorn in her side. Because of this, the entire Liu family had racked their brains, yet all efforts were in vain. She had not expected that a single encounter would cause a dilemma that had plagued the Liu family for 20 years to vanish like smoke. So this wretched brat was merely lacking that. If only she had known sooner. The more Shen Jiaohua thought, the more excited she became, her eyes fixed upon Su Yuanyin. At that moment, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky. 9 apparitions emerged, lining up in perfect order to bow down in worship. Simultaneously, the sound of soul-stirring wailing echoed in everyone's ears. 9 gods bowing in reverence, the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves. Jingyuan, what kind of constitution have you awakened? How could the anomaly be so magnificent? Lu Tianxing, you have witnessed everything happening now. Even those hailed as peerless geniuses cannot create such a commotion when awakening their constitutions. This is the legendary Taboo Physique. It is only natural that you are unaware of it. Lu Tianxing instinctively wanted to retort, "If I don't know it, how could you?" But when he clearly saw the face of the speaker, he immediately knelt down. "Old Ancestor, have you emerged from seclusion?" With the family head having knelt, the others naturally followed suit. "Greetings, Old Ancestor." Because Su Yuanyin had not turned around, her reaction was a beat slow, but she collapsed just as quickly, her legs turning to jelly. The man was surrounded by the lingering aura of the great Tao, and his every word carried the weight of natural laws. A great emperor, this person is a great emperor. Just as Su Yuanyin's mind was in turmoil, Shen Jiaohua hurriedly spoke. "Old Ancestor, are you saying that my son has awakened the Taboo Physique? According to ancient records, while this constitution is immensely powerful, it will be envied by all living beings." The third ancestor waved his hand, preventing her from continuing. In ordinary families, such a constitution would indeed easily become a source of disaster, but having said this, he cast a nonchalant glance into the void. "Old Ghost Han, Old Ghost Shen, do you have any objections to my words?" "I naturally have no objections. After all, the blood flowing through this child's veins is that of my Shen family. You 2 old immortals, do not grow complacent. The desolate, ancient sacred body of my Shao family is by no means inferior to this forbidden physique." Dismissing their nonsense, the third ancestor ignored his 2 old rivals and turned to Su Yuanyin. "Was it you who helped Jingyuan awaken his constitution?" Su Yuanyin was startled. "This junior dare not claim the credit. I have only fulfilled the duties of a concubine." The third ancestor nodded with satisfaction. "There is no need to refer to yourself as a junior. Once you have entered the Liu family, you are one of us. So be it. From now on, your cultivation resources will be provided according to the standards of a direct disciple." With those words, the figure of the third ancestor vanished into the air. Once the elder had departed, Shen Jiaohua immediately pulled Su Yuanyin to her side. "Tell me quickly, how is my son's combat prowess?" Su Yuanyin was taken aback by the question, but she answered obediently, "Very strong. I could barely hold my own." Shen Jiaohua laughed triumphantly. "My son is truly powerful in every regard," but her expression quickly turned serious. "Yuanyin, you must understand. There are hardships in life you must endure. Never push away a fortuitous encounter out of a fear of suffering." Shen Jiaohua spoke with increasing fervor until even Su Yuanyin, a grown woman, found herself blushing. "Mother, I know what I must do." Su Yuanyin could only hope to bear a son soon, for then she would surely ascend to great heights in a single bound. "Good, as long as you think that way, it is enough. Husband, you have finally awakened. To see that you have broken through from the mid-Haoshan stage to the peak of the Xiantian realm in a mere 2 days." Su Yuanyin's eyes were filled with excitement. After all, she and he were on the same vessel. The stronger he became, the greater the benefits she would receive. "I must admit, an aged vintage like you has quite an extraordinary aftertaste. You are detestable." Suanyan acted in a charming, coy manner and certain parts of his body naturally responded to her allure. However, not allowing his primal instincts to prevail, you pulled Suanyan and headed straight outside. Husband, where are we going? You have only just awoken. Shouldn't we go and pay our respects to your parents first? Why concern ourselves with them? Take me to your Su family at once. I wish to experience the sensation of being an ancestor. Su Yuanyan was stunned at first, then shook her head helplessly. Mubi, surely you didn't come to me just for this? Yet, before she could voice her complaints, the two of them had already arrived at the gates of the Su family estate. Respecting the two ancestors of the palace, it remains unknown how the great elder of the Su family obtained such information in advance. In short, before your arrival, the old man had already gathered a group of people waiting at the gates, including the son of fortune, Su Lingchen. With cyan-colored fortune, it is no wonder he could escape the grasp of a great emperor. You immediately employ the art of qi observation to examine Su Lingchen's inner state, knowing that today you must at least deplete a portion of his fortune. Contemplating this, you reach out and wrap your arm around Su Wanyan's waist. What are you doing? Su Wanyan does not understand that you are using her to assert your dominance. Behave and cooperate with me. I truly have no choice when it comes to you. Though she complains, Su Wanyan complies perfectly, tilting her head to rest against your shoulder. The two of you standing together truly resemble a golden boy and a jade maiden. Yet the sight only fuels Su Lingchen's fury. He views you both as shameless scoundrels. Su Wanyan, do you not understand the principle that the wealth of one's own house should not flow to outsiders? Su Lingchen is grinding his teeth in rage, but besides fueling his own anger, he is powerless to change anything. After all, he has yet to receive the Saint-Grade inheritance. Aside from a master residing within his ring, he possesses no other trump cards. Just wait. In 3 days' time at the most, I will make you all regret this. You confirm that the room nearby is indeed Su Lingchen's residence. Although she does not understand why you are asking, Su Wanyan still nods. I hold absolute authority within the Su family. They would not dare deceive me. Furthermore, I can sense that the boy named Su Lingchen is currently right next door. But tell me, why are you so concerned with this Su Lingchen? Is there something special about him? Su Wanyan asks, puzzled. You have only just awakened, yet you do not visit your parents and have not even eaten at the Su estate, choosing instead to focus on a junior of the family. This indicates that Su Lingchen must harbor some peculiar secret. You do not hide your intentions from her. Wan Yin, if you had to compete for an opportunity against a junior of your own family, would you strike? Su Wanyan nods without hesitation. If that opportunity were beneficial to me, I would naturally take it. Only when I grow stronger can the Su family have a better future. One must admit this woman is truly cold-blooded. If that is the case, cooperate with me later. Just make sure your voice is loud enough for Su Lingchen to hear clearly. Tomorrow I shall gift you a Saint-Grade inheritance. Su Wanyan's eyes brightened, and she nodded in agreement without a moment's hesitation. As for whether this would cause her to lose face, that was no longer a concern within her consideration. Furthermore, even if they were overheard, Su Lingchen would never dare to speak of it to anyone. Shall we begin right now? As movements echoed from the adjacent room, Su Lingchen crushed the teacup in his hand. What a shameless, depraved woman. With every sound of impact from the room next door, Su Lingchen muttered under his breath, and the aura of fortune surrounding him dimmed by a fraction. Initially, his aura shone with a vibrant blue hue, but as time passed, the color grew increasingly faint. By the time dawn broke and the room next door fell silent, the blue light had vanished entirely, replaced only by a sickly green. This boy possesses every advantage, yet his mental fortitude is truly lacking. Born the young master of the Su clan and heralded as a peerless genius, he has never known the meaning of adversity. Watching Su Lingchen, who had not slept all night, his throat parched and hoarse. The old man within the ring sighed helplessly. The reason he had not intervened was to seize this opportunity to temper Su Lingchen's state of mind. Yet, little did he know, this attempt at tempering would directly cost Su Lingchen his future prospects. It was only when the sun had climbed high that the old man cast a cleansing heart mantra to rouse Su Lingchen. Master, I have lost my composure once again. Although your fortune has been damaged, you have clearly matured much more after this ordeal. It is for the best that you have seen through this. Remember, no matter the time or place, strength is always the most important factor. Why is Lu Jingyuan able to manipulate your clan lord at will, doing whatever he desires? In the end, is it not simply because he possesses overwhelming strength? Su Lingchen was suddenly enlightened. Acknowledging the old man's words without another word, he rose and rushed out of the Su mansion. You vile pair, just you wait. The moment I emerge from the saint-level ancient tomb, it shall be your day of reckoning. 900 miles outside Yunshao City, hidden within the mountain ranges, you and Su Huanyan finally located the fated opportunity recorded in the Nine Heavens Dragon Earth. Upon their arrival, the restrictions at the cave entrance had dissipated just in time. Is this truly the mausoleum of a saint-level powerhouse? Sensing that aura, Su Huanyan's body trembled. Very well, you may enter. This inheritance may not elevate you to the saint realm immediately, but reaching the nirvana realm will be no issue at all. Su Huanyan drew a deep breath and spoke solemnly, once I emerge, I shall serve you well. With that, she flashed into the cave dwelling. As for you, you turned back down the mountain. Not to head home, of course, but to witness a marvelous spectacle. It was a scene you had specifically orchestrated for Su Lingchen. By dusk that evening, Su Lingchen, usually this place is so desolate that even rabbits wouldn't bother to tread here, yet today it is as crowded as a festival. The main paths leading into the mountain are all guarded by squads led by experts at the Human King realm. Su Lingchen had been in a decent mood, preoccupied with the lingering memory of Su Wanyin's voice, but upon noticing the irregularities here, his expression shifted immediately. Could it be that the Saint-grade ancient tomb has already been discovered? With this thought, he surged toward the mountain pass. It was a pity that he lacked the strength to force his way through at this moment. No matter how formidable his combat prowess might be, he was no match for a human king. The gap between them spanned 2 entire cultivation realms. Consequently, after being rebuffed twice, Su Lingchen had no choice but to attempt to reason with them. Who are you people? This is clearly an uninhabited mountain. By what right do you forbid me from passing? He had expected the opposing party to produce some official documents or spout a sermon of logic to justify their actions. Yet the man he questioned merely responded with a cold sneer. You ask by what right? Simply by the fact that this place has been claimed by our Liu family. Furthermore, here in the central region, whatever the Liu family sets its sights upon becomes our property. Su Lingchen's fist tightened until his knuckles cracked. The wretched Liu family again, why are they everywhere? Yet no matter how furious he was, he had no choice but to force a smile, because the opportunity hidden here was of paramount importance to him. Esteemed senior, my father is gravely ill, and I must return urgently. If I do not, I fear I may not see him one last time. As he spoke, Su Lingchen's hands were not idle. He slipped a banknote directly into the guard's palm. This tactic was, as expected, effective. The Liu family guard offered a sinister smile and proposed an alternative. Passing is possible, but to prove you carry no hidden weapons, you must leave everything behind, save for your undergarments. In an instant, Su Lingchen's handsome face flushed a deep crimson, akin to a monkey's backside. This was blatant humiliation, yet he had no choice but to endure it. Moreover, he bore this indignity willingly, for from the guard's implication, he deduced that the Saint-grade tomb had not yet been unearthed. Thus, Su Lingchen began to disrobe. Is this satisfactory now? The guard scrutinized him from head to toe, his gaze lingering on Su Lingchen's right hand. This ring must also be left behind. Of course, if you are uneasy about it, you are welcome to find a secluded spot to bury it yourself. Su Lingchen cared little for other possessions, but this ring was his lifeline. His master resided within it. Just as he prepared to abandon this opportunity, a carriage appeared at the end of the road, and moments later an arrogant voice echoed from within. A good dog does not block the path. Make way for this young lady. Upon hearing this, the Liu family guards were incensed. Although the central region is filled with hidden dragons and crouching tigers, they believed they had the backing to act as they pleased. Where has this little girl emerged from? Have you no manners? Did your elders never teach you that one should not be so arrogant when venturing out into the world? Silence fell within the carriage. It was clear she was stunned by the rebuke. But only seconds later, the counterattack arrived. Very well, I, Yilingshi, have lived to this age, and this is the first time anyone has dared to speak to me in such a manner. If I do not tear that filthy mouth of yours to shreds today, I shall no longer bear the name Yi. As the voice faded, the speed of the carriage noticeably increased. In the shadows, the moment the opponent revealed her identity, you immediately consulted the 9 Heavens Dragon records. Yi Lingshi, the little princess of the Zhuanchen Imperial Dynasty, her father is the Zhuanchen Holy Lord Yi Kangyong. His cultivation at the peak of the quasi-saint stage. Her mother is the Zhuanchen Empress, Guqing Xue, her cultivation at the early quasi-saint stage. In 4 days, she will encounter Su Longchen, and the two will fall in love at first sight, marking the greatest opportunity of his life. On the return journey, the Zhuanchen Imperial Dynasty will discover a small fox. This fox is a descendant of the 9-tailed celestial fox, with a growth potential reaching the saint level. It will eventually become an indispensable assistant to Yi Lingshi. So it is the destined heroine arriving to protect her husband. You shook your head helplessly. You had intended to seize this opportunity to swindle the ring from Su Longchen and find a way to make the master within it submit to you. But now it seems that move was too reckless, as it has triggered Su Longchen's destiny to protect him automatically. However, a princess of the Zhuanchen Imperial Dynasty cannot cause any great waves. With a smirk, you stepped forward. The reason for your confidence is that the Zhuanchen Imperial Dynasty is a vassal force of the Liu family. When Yi Kangyong ascended the throne, it was only by the grace of Liu Tianxing. Very well, everyone be silent. As for Su Longchen, he was planning to sneak into the mountains during the chaos, but your appearance has directly shattered his plans. He was forced to seek the help of the master within the ring to hide inside Yi Lingshi's carriage procession. Damnation, is Lu Jingyuan not supposed to be out hunting? Why is he lingering about everywhere? What is this? You pretty boy, who are you? Yi Lingshi grew irritable upon seeing yet another person blocking the path, but no sooner had she spoken than an anxious voice echoed from within the carriage. Menger, do not be impolite to the young master. As these words were uttered, the expressions of everyone surrounding the carriage shifted, especially Su Longchen, who had just hidden himself well. Cold sweat broke out across his brow. He had assumed some great figure capable of opposing the Liu family had arrived, yet he had not expected it to be a mere person of empty reputation. This will not do. This cursed place is no longer safe to inhabit, and even Yunxiao City has become a land of peril. Su Lingchen began to survey the surrounding terrain. He prepared himself to seize any opportunity for escape. Ferry within the carriage, since you are aware of my presence, why not reveal yourself? The reason you are so intrigued by the occupant is that the beauty registry within your mind has automatically turned to the 22nd page. It is evident that the woman inside the carriage is a beauty ranked within the registry. You initially expected the woman to step out and pay her respects, but to your surprise, she replied, "Young master, the surroundings are cluttered with prying eyes. Perhaps you should step inside instead." You cast a sidelong glance at Su Lingchen behind the right flank of the carriage, then entered the vehicle with a wicked smile, only to find the woman lying languidly on her side. Her appearance truly lives up to the reputation of the beauty registry, seemingly possessing even more grace than Su Wanyan. Could it be that those ranked higher on the registry are inherently more beautiful? If the 22nd page already holds such allure, must the first page not contain a celestial being descended from the heavens? Just as you were lost in thought, the reclined woman finally stirred, resting her slender silk-clad legs upon your lap. "Young master, this humble one is named Gu Qingxue, the empress of the Xuanqian imperial dynasty. I even held you in my arms when you were born." As she spoke, her dainty feet moved in a playful, provocative manner. She is truly formidable. Truth be told, even if this woman had not attempted to seduce you, you would have made your move once the time was ripe. Her initiative has merely spared you a great deal of trouble. Consequently, your hands moved immediately, and naturally, since your hands were occupied, your mouth was not idle either. "So it is Gu Qingxue. I have been quite disrespectful, please forgive me. However, your method of greeting is certainly unique." Facing your advances, Gu Qingshu did not blush. Instead, she laughed as she countered. "So the young master does not enjoy this? Shall I withdraw then?" She made a show of pulling her legs back. You knew well that it was a charade, yet you could not restrain yourself. "Do not," you commanded, and Gu Qingshu immediately ceased her movement, thinking to herself, "I knew it. No one can resist these legs of mine." Yet her expression soon stiffened, for you were pressing forward, attempting to breach her defenses. Wait. For the first time, Gu Qingshui lost her composure. Though she had been the one seducing you, her intent was merely to persuade the Lu family's young master to assist her with a task. However, she possessed her own boundaries. Being touched was acceptable, but the current situation was on the verge of causing her composure to collapse entirely. Once her heartbeat had somewhat stabilized, Gu Qingshui opened her mouth, her eyes brimming with allure. "Young, my visit to Yunxiao City is ostensibly to congratulate you on the awakening of your extreme supreme physique, but in truth, I have come to seek the master's assistance." You immediately took interest. "You may state your plea." "Young master, my husband has been on the throne for 60 years. According to the traditions of the imperial family, a crown prince must be appointed upon the arrival of this deadline. Originally, my son, Cheng Feng, was the undisputed heir to the throne as he is the eldest son. However, several months ago, that wretched bastard Yi Chengqian encountered some unforeseen fortune. He completely shed his former life of debauchery and became incredibly ambitious. He has not only designed new styles of attire but has also researched a type of weapon that can be equipped by commoners. While such things are of no use to us cultivators, they can claim the life of an ordinary man from 100 paces. It is truly difficult to defend against. Furthermore, despite his mediocre natural talent, his cultivation base began to progress in leaps and bounds, breaking through from the Hushan realm to the Jidan realm in just a few short months. Consequently, the matter of appointing an heir has descended into chaos. Gu Qingshui did not continue, but you had already deduced the situation. Her son has gradually fallen into a disadvantageous position in his power struggle against Yi Chengxian. Were it not for her status as empress, Gu Qingshui would not have resorted to the low strategy of a seduction plot. "So, you mean to say that Aunt Gu summoned me to the carriage because you want me to assist your son?" Gu Qingshui's eyes were filled with anticipation. As the sole heir of the Liu family, if you stand on the side of her son, Ye Chengqian would certainly have no chance of victory. "Aunt Gu, I am curious, if I help your son ascend to the position of crown prince, what will I receive in return?" Gu maintained silent for a moment before gritting her teeth and saying, "If the emperor does not make a public declaration, I shall clear the path for him to ensure our deal. However, I hope the location will be within the empress's private chambers." Gu Qingshui glared at you, but she did not refuse. "Very well, but let us be clear, you must not force orders upon the emperor. After all, he is a sovereign ruler. If you are too overbearing, you will easily incite his defiance. If he were to develop a prejudice against Cheng Feng, then all would be lost. Even if Gu Qingshu had not said it, you would not have acted that way. You are not concerned for Ye Shangkong. You are wary of the suddenly rising Ye Chengqian. Based on Gu Qingshua's description, this fellow is clearly the archetype of a protagonist. He might even be a fellow transmigrator from your homeland. The Jushin Longdi soon confirmed this for you. Before Ye Chengqian transmigrated, he was a doctorate holder in mechanical engineering. His golden finger is a system where the higher his reputation, the greater his strength. 2 months ago, while strolling through an auction, he purchased a severely wounded quasi-saint powerhouse. That powerhouse has now been fully healed. A month ago, by pure chance, I awakened a law-based trait. By wagering with others, one can enhance their own fortune. Impressive indeed, even more heaven-defying than Su Lingshan. Gu Qing, you wouldn't mind waiting a few days for me, would you? Once I have finished settling matters with my family, I shall accompany you to Zhuanshan City. Naturally, I do not mind. Gu Qingshui was overcome with excitement and threw herself directly into your arms. Since the young master is being so forthright, I shall no longer conceal my true intentions. We shall save the main course for later, but for the sake of the young master's health, today I will let you taste the dessert first. Just as you and Gu Qingshui were lost in intimacy, Su Lingshan and Yi Lingxi were engaged in a similar scene. Of course, this young couple, having only recently met, were merely holding hands in a secluded spot to profess their affections. That young master of the Liu clan is truly detestable. If you are willing, Brother Su Lingshan, please come to Zhuanshan City. My Zhuanshan imperial dynasty, though a vassal power to the Liu clan, still retains a certain degree of autonomy. Moreover, the Liu clan barely visits once every few decades. Staying there will surely provide you with better opportunities for development. One must admit, the gold-digging ability of a child of destiny is truly monstrous. Having only just met, Yi Lingxi's already been completely conquered. Hearing these words, Su Lingshan and the master residing within his ring laughed maniacally. This is truly a case of finding a pillow exactly when one is sleepy. The Yi family tree is far more massive than the Su family's. A mere hint of support from them is enough to sustain him for a lifetime. No, I cannot merely curry favor with this little girl. When the opportunity arises, I must also flatter her mother. The capabilities of an empress far exceed those of this little girl. In an instant, Su Lingshan had already mapped out a glorious future for himself. Yet, he little knew that the mother-in-law he planned to flatter had already fallen. You did not linger, and once satisfied, you took Gu Qingshui back to Yunxiao City. As for Su Wanyan, there is no need to worry. Once she completes the inheritance, she will naturally return to the Liu estate. Upon entering Yunxiao City, Gu Qingxi intended to lead Yi Lingxi to visit the Liu estate, but she dared not enter. If she were to step through those doors by the time she emerged, it is feared she would already be with child. But the moment you stepped through the grand entrance of the Liu estate, a voice imbued with the laws of heaven and earth echoed in your ears. Canyuan, come directly to the back mountain. You were stunned. Does the great emperor ancestor of the Liu clan actually have a woman? Moreover, she must be a peerless beauty. For the moment the voice reached your ears, the Hongyan Sei turned its pages automatically, stopping only at the 9th page. You were momentarily dumbfounded, but your footsteps did not falter. Instead, you accelerated toward the back mountain. Damn it, regardless of how vast the heavens and earth are, the greatest reward is at stake. Nothing shall stop me from claiming my reward. The more you pondered, the more exhilarated you became. Before you realized it, you had reached the restricted grounds of the back mountain. Your gaze immediately fell upon the mysterious woman. You had to admit the beauty record was truly reliable. This woman in white was indeed several shades more beautiful than Su Wanyan and Gu Qingshu, and her aura in particular was truly incomparable. Just as you were staring in a trance at the grieving woman, you were suddenly struck hard on the back of the neck. You brat, can you show a modicum of respect? This is your 6th ancestor. What are you staring at? You first scratched your head in embarrassment, then a look of dissatisfaction appeared on your face. Father, everyone appreciates beauty. This sister is so beautiful. What is the harm in me looking at her for a moment longer? Lu Tianxing was incensed and was about to strike you again when the 6th ancestor spoke up. Enough, Tianxing, do not concern yourself with such trifles. Furthermore, Jingyuan is not wrong, she said, assessing you with keen interest. Having lived for so many years and having met countless young talents, you are the only one who has dared to speak to her in such a manner. This little brat even seems to have ill intentions toward her. How truly interesting. Come to think of it, it has been 2,000 years since I last had a man, hasn't it? If this lad has the gall to act on his impulses, then I certainly wouldn't mind having a taste. With that thought, the 6th ancestor tossed you a jade pendant. Little one, take this. I suspect you are about to embark on a long journey. If you encounter an enemy you cannot overcome, simply channel your spiritual energy into the pendant and I will appear at your side instantly. Naturally, if you encounter a bottleneck in your cultivation, you may also use it to summon me. You were stunned for a moment before bursting into a joyful laugh. With this pendant, it was effectively the same as having a great Emperor Realm Guardian. Many thanks, 6th ancestor. The 6th ancestor waved her hand dismissively, no need for formalities. Besides, I've had nothing to do lately. Acting as your guardian will serve to kill time. If it were not for the agreement between us old monsters that the great emperors must not reveal themselves lightly, I would have preferred to follow you everywhere. You were about to thank her again. The 6th ancestor raised her hand to cut you off. Little Jingyuan, I summoned you to the back mountain today because there is another matter of great importance I must discuss with you. As she spoke, the flippant look on the 6th ancestor's face vanished, replaced by an expression of extreme gravity. Jingyuan, from this day forward, you must cultivate with your life on the line. If you do not, when the day comes that you meet this Han Xiao, you will undoubtedly— Han Xiao, the man rumored to possess the vitality of 6 men, capable of vanquishing even his own aunt. Han Xiao, you say? That is correct. It is indeed him. Among your peers, he shall be your greatest adversary. Without a word, you immediately browse through the 9 heavens dragon earth within your mind, and as you follow the progression of Han Xiao's life, you are struck with horror. This man was born with a desolate ancient sacred body. Before the age of 23, he remained unremarkable, but upon leaving the Han family to wander the world, he ascended to the heavens in a single bound. Unstoppable, those sons of heaven's mandate, such as Su Langqian and Ye Chengqian, were nothing more than massive sources of experience in his eyes. And at the end of the 9 heavens dragon earth, this man even unified the entire immortal domain, becoming the king among kings in this world. Naturally, he was not entirely invincible. He did experience failure on his path of growth. Yet this only made him fiercer with every setback, further tempering his desolate ancient sacred body. With the Han family as his backing, a minimum of purple-tier destiny, and a cheat that grants him greater strength through failure. With one man possessing so many advantages, how are others meant to compete? The more you analyze, the grimmer your expression becomes, yet you soon discover that apart from your destiny being inferior to Han Xiao's, you do not seem to lag behind him in other aspects. It seems I must find a way to enhance my destiny. You gaze at yourself instinctively, then smile bitterly. Although you successfully diminished Su Langtian's destiny, you failed to absorb much of it, leaving you with only a faint red glow. Little one, you need not feel inferior. For a cultivator, a 20-year gap is not considered vast. This is clearly understood. The sixth ancestor misunderstood, thinking you were discouraged, but whether the gap is large or not depends on whether one is willing to take the initiative. Who knows, perhaps in the next second I might surpass that Han Xiao. Naturally, you only dare to keep such thoughts to yourself. After all, he is a great emperor, and the disparity between you two is far too great. It is better to cultivate honestly. However, to obtain rewards, maintaining a good relationship is essential. Rest assured, Ancestor Jingyun is not arrogant or conceited. By the way, Ancestor, what is your name? Calling you Ancestor constantly feels far too distant. You insolent brat. Lu Tianxing was immediately enraged, only to be interrupted by the sixth ancestor. This emperor is named Chu Luanyi. You immediately seize the opportunity and say, then from now on I shall call you Sister Luanyi. Lu Tianxing was nearly frightened to death. That is the sixth ancestor. How dare you, brat? Chu Luanyi merely laughed indifferently. Call me whatever you wish. Very well, I have said all that needs to be said. The rest of you, return to your duties. You intended to tease him a while longer, but Lu Tianxing did not grant you the opportunity. He seized you by the collar and dragged you out of the forbidden grounds of the back mountain. You stinking brat, you must show the utmost respect whenever you encounter the ancestor in the future. And as for that jade pendant, do not use it recklessly unless it is an absolute emergency. You paid him no mind whatsoever. Lu Tianxing, feeling utterly helpless, had to change his approach. The ancestor status is far too prestigious to allow for frequent departures from seclusion. How about this? I will assign a Dao protector to you. Let them handle all minor matters. Should a problem arise that they cannot resolve, then you may summon the ancestor. Having said this, he gestured toward the door. Moments later, a young woman, barely 5 feet tall and possessing an incredibly adorable appearance, stepped into the room. Qin Di, do you recognize this woman? Her name is Qin Ruo. She was the personal maidservant of Shen Jiahua and part of her dowry years ago. Her cultivation talent is exceptional, and she has likely reached the peak of the quasi-saint realm by now. Logically speaking, such a dowry maid should have long ago become the groom's concubine. But unfortunately, Shen Jiahua is far too domineering. And for all these years, Lu Tianxing has never been able to make a move. Old man, it seems you have given up the struggle. If that is the case, then I shall certainly not stand on ceremony. Although Qin Ruo is not recorded in the beauty scroll, her appearance, combined with her charming demeanor, is more than enough to stir the heart. Qin Di, I shall have to trouble you from now on. Qin Ruo stuck out her tongue and laughed, saying, Young master, you are too kind. Please do not hesitate to give your commands. Witnessing this scene, your conviction grew even stronger. Meanwhile, in Zhuanqian City, within a courtyard situated closest to the imperial palace, one could only wonder if Mother would succeed in bringing back reinforcements. If she fails, my position as the heir to the throne is as good as lost. Yi Chengfeng stared at the intelligence report in his hand, looking as if he had just swallowed a mouthful of bile. That third younger brother of his, who previously knew only how to idle away his time, had just invented something called a great cannon the day before yesterday, a device capable of threatening Huqin realm experts. The reputation of Yi Chengqian was soaring once again, and many ministers who had previously remained neutral were now shifting their allegiance toward him. The emperor himself, immediately upon the creation of this great cannon, paid a personal visit to the third prince's manor and did not leave until the following day, looking thoroughly satisfied. Eldest young master, someone has arrived from the palace. His Majesty commands your presence at the central plaza to welcome a distinguished guest. Hearing this, Ye Chengfeng pumped his fist in excitement. He was certain that his mother had returned. Among those accompanying her, there was surely an individual of great stature. Mother, you are truly magnificent. At the third prince's manor, Ye Chengqian, who had been contemplating how to further elevate his reputation, also received this imperial decree. So this mother of mine actually has some hidden capabilities. To think she actually managed to call for reinforcements. I only wonder what price this great beauty had to pay to secure them. Although Ye Chengqian was a scientific researcher before transmigrating, he was well versed in the ways of human interaction. The eyes of the immortal Lu clan, it made no difference who held the throne of the Zhuanqian dynasty. In this predicament, Gu Qingshui wished to convince the Lu clan to step forward and aid her son. The only bargaining chip she could use to sway them was her own body. It is a pity, mother. Though you are the empress, you understand nothing of the imperial heart. How could someone who commands a vast empire spanning 10,000 miles ever be content to submit to others? By opening the gates and inviting the Lu clan here, you have not only failed to help your son, but have driven him further from the throne. Upon Yi Shangkong's summons, the core members of the imperial clan gathered in haste. At the same moment, a colossal airship appeared on the horizon. Looking at the gold-rimmed crest, the newcomers were clearly of the Lu clan's direct bloodline. Seeing this, Ye Shangkong and Ye Chengjian furrowed their brows in unison. This situation appears to be rather difficult to resolve. Can it be that the person who has arrived is Lu Tianxing? If it is truly him, how are we expected to contend with this? The Zhuanqian dynasty has existed for over 2,000 years, and on the surface it possesses 3 saint-level experts. Yet such a legacy is not even worth mentioning in the face of the Liu clan. Liu Tianxing alone is enough to sweep across the entire Xuanchen dynasty. In stark contrast to their anxiety, the atmosphere aboard the airship was one of indulgence. It seems you disciplined her well along the journey. Impressive, I never expected her to possess such natural talent for dance. Initially, Gu Qingshui remained obedient, but upon realizing the airship had entered the airspace of Xuanchen City, she began to struggle. Young master, I have spotted my husband. I must go and change my attire. If he were to see me in this state, I would not be able to clear my name even with 100 mouths. You glanced at the anxious Gu Qingshui, gave her a pat on the hip, and finally allowed her to depart. As a modern person, having completed 9 years of mandatory education, you understood the principle that moderation is key. You walked to the edge of the airship, intending to admire the imperial capital, but at a mere glance, your eyes met those of a young man. This was an imperial-level powerhouse arriving to welcome the young master. As the airship descended, the members of the Yi clan on the plaza immediately knelt. At the same moment, Ye Shangkong and Ye Qingqian simultaneously breathed a sigh of relief. Since the one who arrived was not, your constitution has awakened, and your status may even surpass that of your father, yet your lack of worldly experience makes you an easy mark. And as for you, this supposedly brilliant young master, you reveal your lack of depth the moment you appear. Everyone please rise, I am not here to inspect your work, you may simply act as if I do not exist. His smile was gentle and devoid of arrogance, yet the members of the Yi family dared not take it at face value. The young's master jokes paramount, and protocol cannot be discarded. We insist that the young master remains in Xuanchen City for a few more days, so that our Yi family may properly fulfill our duties as hosts. You hear nothing but flattery, yet you observe that very few are being sincere. It seems this Xuanchen dynasty truly requires a new master, for if left unchecked, this rot will become a catastrophe. However, this matter concerns a son of heaven with green-tiered destiny. One must proceed with careful calculation. Since it is still early, I wish to take a stroll through Xuanchen City. Yi Shangkong nodded hurriedly. Young master, what of the banquet tonight? You waved your hand, proceed as planned. I will return in time. In the imperial study, Ye Shangkong and Ye Chengqian exchanged a silent look. Third, have the servants in his sleeping quarters been arranged? Though the order was simple, Ye Chengqian's expression was filled with anguish. Third, one who aspires to great things does not dwell on trifles. They are merely a few women. Once our Yi family is finally free of the Liu family, what woman could we not possess? The individuals placed within the Liu family palace were female operatives specifically trained by Ye Chengqian using modern ruthless methods. Without exception, they were orphans of peerless beauty, one of whom was his own. Ye Chengqian had originally intended to keep these women for himself, but for the sake of his grand ambition, he had to suppress his desires. Only those under professional training could guarantee absolute loyalty, and only they could transmit intelligence with speed and precision. Father, rest assured, your son understands, as the principle. If one does not risk his child, he cannot capture the wolf. I understand this well enough. Right, father, the empress? Ye Chengqian did not finish his sentence, but Ye Shangkong already grasped his son's intent. With a single strike, he shattered the desk before him. It was clear that his fury had reached a breaking point. In truth, the moment Gu Qingshui descended from the airship, Ye Shangkong had realized that his empress was not quite herself. Gu Qingshui had become even more beautiful, and combined with your unprovoked interference to assist Yi Chengfeng, every sign pointed to his empress having been enlightened by you. Furthermore, the two had engaged in numerous illicit affairs, and he vowed that sooner or later he would take both their lives. Yet Yi Chengfeng, for the sake of a throne, was willing to let his own mother prostitute herself. I would rather bestow this position upon a dog than grant it to such a man. Just as Yi Shangkong seethed in silence, Yi Chengqian, then who had successfully stoked his father's rage, smiled secretly to himself. That remark was intentional. Before transmigrating, he had experienced a similar situation and understood the underlying psychology all too well. If he had not exposed this matter, Ye Shangkong would likely have let it slide. After all, if no one knows, it is not considered an affair. That night, inside the main palace hall, the air was thick with incense. Though the hall was filled with guests, no one dared to touch their chopsticks. It is fortunate that you are punctual. Before anyone could even exchange a few pleasantries, you strode into the hall. You greeted the young master with a smile and waved your hand, gesturing for everyone to take their seats. By the way, have you arranged any entertainment? If so, instruct them to begin the performance at once. You were clearly intent on playing the role of a debauched and arrogant playboy to perfection. Say no more, for there were actually those who believed the act. Mother, is this the reinforcement you summoned? Why do I feel he is even less reliable than I am? Watching Ye Chengqian's lack of guile, Gu Qingshui could only offer a helpless, bitter smile. Her son was truly beyond saving, to think he would dare to doubt his excellency. He is a man who will employ any means necessary to achieve his ends. Is his status not noble enough for you? Yet, aboard the flying ship, he struck me the entire journey over a single comment I made. Had I not possessed the cultivation of a quasi-saint, I doubt my very bones would have survived the trip. Just as the mother and son whispered to one another, a troupe of graceful dancers arrived in the center of the hall, spurred on by your command. Young master, this dance was choreographed by my son Chengxian not long ago. What do you think, Mai? Not bad, truly not bad, this is top tier. Though you lavished them with unending praise, you had already calculated the impending danger countless times in your mind. You never expected that this Yi Chengqian would bring the concept of an all-girl musical troupe to this other world. Kong, I want all 7 of them. Until I depart, let them tend to my daily needs and meals. Right, what is the name of the lead dancer? It was as if he had anticipated you would ask that very question. Ye Kong replied instantly, Young master, perhaps you were unaware, but these 7 were originally the maids in your own bedchamber. As for the lead dancer, her name is Lu Ruyan. At first, you noticed nothing peculiar, but the longer you watched, the deeper your brow furrowed. The name Lu Ruyan stirred an inexplicable sense of familiarity, yet you could not place it. The more you pondered, the more agitated you became. In your frustration, you cast your gaze elsewhere, but upon seeing Ye Chengqian, your pupils suddenly constricted, and you immediately accessed the 9 Heavens Dragon Emperor archives in your mind. The fundamental information regarding Lu Ruyan appeared instantly. Lu Ruyan, the biological mother of Ye Chengqian. Before Ye Chengqian rose to power, she was merely an ordinary woman. It was precisely because of her low status that Ye Chengqian had never possessed any competitive edge in the struggle for the throne. None of the princes held him in any regard. After Ye Chengqian rose to power, Lu Ruyan was trained as a female operative. She was tasked with the daily responsibility of serving as his personal bodyguard, never leaving his side day or night. In time, she even reached the early stages of the Saint Realm, becoming Ye Chengqian's most formidable right hand. Damnation, Ye Chengqian truly is audacious. To deal with me, he would even deploy his own biological mother. At this moment, a devious smile curled upon your lips. If a feast is delivered directly to one's doorstep, there is absolutely no reason to refuse it. Very well, there is no need to continue dancing. I do not have the habit of sharing women with others. Return to my bedchamber immediately and await me after I have finished my wine. Your voice was not soft. Everyone in the grand hall shared a knowing, lecherous laugh. As men, they naturally understood exactly what was to follow. At the scene, the only ones unable to find humor in the situation were the father and son, Ye Chengqian and Ye Kengqian. Yi Chengqian lamented the lost opportunity to return home, while Yi Kengjing felt the color of his head turning even greener. Chengqian, strike now. We cannot allow him to remain this arrogant, or the fence-sitters will surely harbor treasonous thoughts. In a breath, after Lu Ruyan and the others retreated from the center of the hall, he leaped to a position not far from you. Young master, have you ever heard of the Xuantian 3 mysteries? You nodded slightly. Although you had only transmigrated a few days ago, you had already heard of this widely circulated legend. The so-called Xuantian 3 mysteries refer to 3 artifacts that fell from the heavens. It is said that once these 3 artifacts are deciphered, a secret realm will manifest in the vicinity of Xuantian City. Because of this, the reigning monarch of that era poured nearly the entire strength of the nation into deciphering them. Yet he failed to solve even one throughout his entire life. Successive rulers were equally helpless against these 3 enigmas, but you knew full well that Yi Chengqian had solved 2 of them not long ago. That he mentions this now, he clearly intends to use the final mystery to corner you. It seems this is nothing more than a Hongmen banquet. Young master, I am untalented, but I was fortunate enough to solve 2 of them a few days ago, yet the 3rd remains beyond my grasp. I had originally intended to abandon the pursuit, but your appearance, young master, has provided me with new hope. With your brilliance and wisdom, surely this will not pose a challenge to you. Please, do not hesitate to enlighten me. Having spoken, Ye Chengqian respectfully held up a piece of rope. The 3rd prince has actually solved 2 of the 3 Xuantian mysteries. Truly, the heavens bless our dynasty. Under the guidance of the 3rd prince, our Xuantian dynasty will surely reach even greater heights. Hearing the chatter of the high officials, Ye Chengqian smiled until his eyes narrowed to slits. But when he turned to witness your he was terrified, for he had not realized when a divine sword had appeared in your hand, clearly intending to sever that rope. In truth, if anyone else had attempted such a feat, Ye Chengqian would not have panicked in the slightest. After all, the ancestors of the Xuantian dynasty had already tried. That rope, which descended from the heavens, was unbreakable, but your blade was no ordinary weapon. Young master, this object can only be unraveled by hand. If it is severed, the secret realm will never manifest again. Ye Chengqian was truly desperate, and not just him. Ye Kengqiang was the same. With Yi Kengqiang's cultivation at the peak of the quasi-saint stage, he was fully capable of stopping you, yet he dared not move. For the moment you drew your blade, he had been locked onto by another. Should he dare make the slightest movement, a thunderous strike would undoubtedly greet him. As for the outcome, Ye Chengqian's prediction was not wrong. The rope, deemed indestructible in their eyes, had been cleaved to by a single strike. Ye Chengqian collapsed to the ground, an indescribable sensation rising in his heart as if something of immense importance was slipping away from him. A moment later, he asked with a dazed expression, "Young master, why would you do such a thing?" You would have expected an explanation, or at the very least, a pretense of an excuse, but you merely replied indifferently, "This young master does not care for things that cannot be controlled. If it cannot be of use to me, then it might as well be destroyed." Everyone present shuddered, thinking to themselves, how tyrannical. The reactions of the high officials were like salt in Ye Chengqian's wounds, causing his heart to ache even more. He had tried to pilfer a chicken, only to lose the rice used to lure it. On the narrow path leading to the Liu family palace, you hummed a tune as you walked, truly surprised that a single banquet had dissipated a portion of Ye Chengqian's destiny. It was only fitting. The emperor-grade weapon within that secret realm had aided Yi Chengqian immensely in the future. Losing it would certainly diminish Yi Chengqian's strength. The more you thought about it, the more exhilarated you became, your steps quickening. I will not only steal your opportunities. Lu Ruyan's assistance is arguably even more valuable to Ye Chengqian than that emperor-grade weapon. Wait until tonight and I shall sever one of your limbs as well. Your figure reached the palace entrance. Greetings, young master. The 7 dancers, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately performed a deep kowtow. In an instant, you were dazzled by the sight. In truth, the one with the most captivating allure was none other than Lu Ruyan. It was no wonder that Ye Chengqian, despite the immense risks, returned home every single day. You then led the 7 of them into the hall. During the process, you pulled Lu Ruyan into your embrace. Lu Ruyan knew that she absolutely could not escape tonight. In her helplessness, she signaled the other 6, reminding her companions not to forget to eavesdrop. She intended to extract intelligence while your mind was clouded, hoping to increase her son's chances of victory. My son, rest assured I will never break my promise. The future of this Xuantan dynasty is destined to be yours to rule. Early the next morning at the 3rd prince's estate, what happened last night in the Lu family palace? Hearing this question, the little eunuch who came to report collapsed onto the ground. Xiao Anzi had initially thought he was about to rise in status, but after receiving the intelligence, he realized this was a lethal assignment. What are you hesitating for? Speak quickly, or I shall have you flayed alive. Xiao Anzi squeezed his eyes shut and spoke in a loud voice. Last night, Lu Jingyuan returned to the palace and brought Lu Ruyan into the bedchamber. A moment later, the sound of screaming erupted from the room, continuing without cease throughout the entire night. Silence descended. The room became so quiet that one could hear the approach of anyone bringing news. Xiao Anzi was overjoyed. After kowtowing 3 times, he quickly retreated from the room. Once Ye Chengqian was left alone in the room, he could no longer suppress his rage, smashing everything within his reach. Afterwards, his figure flickered, and he lunged directly toward the back mountain. It was clear he intended to vent his frustrations there, but curiously, as soon as he snuck into the back mountain, a spatial vortex emerged from the void and pulled him straight inside. What did you say? The 3rd prince has disappeared? Less than an hour after Ye Chengqian vanished, Ye Kengyong received the news. The emperor of the Xuanqin dynasty flew into a rage instantly. Before the 3rd prince went missing, what exactly happened? The commander of the imperial guard swallowed hard as he prepared to report. He then whispered, Your Majesty, 2 hours ago, the 3rd prince received intelligence from the Lu family palace and immediately rushed toward the back mountain, from which point he vanished without a trace. Yi Kangyong furrowed his brows. Intelligence from the Lu family? What kind of intelligence? The commander's mouth twitched, but he was forced to speak the truth. According to my subordinate's investigation, it likely concerned the report that the 3rd prince's biological mother spent the night with Lu Jingyuan. In that case, the 3rd prince's disappearance is linked to Lu Jingyuan. The commander of the imperial guard gave a firm nod. Indeed, for the sounds of screaming within the Lu family palace have yet to cease even now. Upon receiving this confirmation, Ye Kengyong let out a sigh of relief. As long as it did not involve the Lu family directly, then all was well. After all, within the lands of the Xuanqian dynasty, aside from the Lu family, no one would dare lay a hand on Ye Chengqian. If there were no surprises, that boy Chengqian had surely encountered some sort of fortuitous opportunity. Thinking of this, Ye Kengyong became excited, and the green light atop his head seemed to dim slightly. In the Lu family palace, when you and Lu Ruyan reappeared, the sun had already climbed high into the sky. The 2 of you go to the imperial kitchen and fetch some food. With that order, Lu Ruyan's 6 comrades were quickly dispatched by you, and after you finally received the order to depart, you suddenly spoke up. Well, have you been broken in yet? As if by conditioned reflex, Lu Ruyan collapsed onto her knees. At that same moment, her large eyes were filled with nothing but terror. By all accounts, as one who has experienced much, she should not have been afraid, yet in this moment she was truly brought to submission. From now on, whatever you command me to do, I shall obey without reservation. Hailong nodded. It seemed the efforts of the previous night had not been in vain. What if I were to order you to deal with Ye Chengqian? Lu Ruyan froze, a look of profound anguish surfacing in her eyes. Young master, I beg you, please spare Chengqian. The child is very obedient and possesses great talent. I dare guarantee that if you place him on the throne, he will undoubtedly return to you an era of peace and prosperity. Furthermore, with me here, you need not worry about his loyalty. You were amused. This Lu Ruyan was truly delusional. She did not even stop to consider that if Ye Chengqian truly cared for her, why would he send her here as a spy? So you intend to act as a bridge between myself and Ye Chengqian? You let out a cold laugh, then spoke indifferently. Do you honestly think you are worthy? If my memory serves me correctly, your convenient son has more than once suggested having you disposed of, has he not? He has already harbored such thoughts, and yet you still believe yourself to be of such importance? Lu Ruyan fell silent, a chilling fear rising from the depths of her heart. The man before her knew even such closely guarded secrets. Did this not mean that her status as a mole had already been exposed? I neglected to tell you that your convenient son has, in essence, ceased to be your child. Though the body remains the same, the soul has long since been replaced. How else could such an earth-shattering change have occurred? Whether you stay or leave, that is for you to decide. Having said this, you stepped outside alone. In the vast palace, only Lu Run remained, kneeling in a daze. Naturally, in the shadows, Qin Ruo was keeping a close watch. The orders she had received were clear. Should Lu Ruyan dare to step even half a pace outside the palace, kill her immediately. Ye Shangkong began, but you waved your hand to cut him off. Take me to the library pavilion to have a look. Yi Shankong, who had been busy flattering you, felt a flicker of indignation flash in his eyes at these words. The library pavilion was the most critical location for any faction. Even as the young master ought not to make such an unreasonable demand. Yet Yi Shankong dared not refuse. His eyes darted around and he immediately sought to deflect the situation. Young master, you are well aware of the importance of the library pavilion. That place has always been under the personal management of our... You look at Yi Shankong with a cryptic expression and speak calmly. Just lead the way. I will handle the rest. Do you truly think you can frighten me by invoking the name of an ancestor? That is nothing but a foolish dream. Is your Yi family ancestor truly more formidable than the sixth ancestor Chuluani? With that, the two of you proceed deeper into the imperial palace, until a towering structure finally comes into view. Suddenly, an elderly man, his body withered yet radiating a terrifying aura, appears before you both. What is the young master's purpose in coming here? The elder ignores Yi Shankong entirely, his gaze immediately locking onto you. You reply, I simply wish to take a look around. Since the Tam Chi Chi is now under my authority, young master, feel free to peruse the books inside as you please. The expected confrontation never arrives. In fact, the attitude of this Yi family ancestor is far more accommodating than that of Yi Shankong. Very well, if I gain anything of value inside, this young master will reward you handsomely upon my return. You toss out a perfunctory remark before walking straight into the library. Your disregard for the ancestor's authority is staggering. It is not just you who is bewildered. Even Ye Shankong cannot fathom what is happening. Once your silhouette vanishes, he asks with intense frustration, why did we not stop him? Within this boy I detected a trace of Emperor Qi. My intuition tells me that if we had dared to obstruct him, something truly catastrophic would have occurred. However, you need not worry. The boy will gain nothing from his visit. As he speaks these words, the Yi family ancestor wears a mysterious expression. After you sent word to me, I immediately took measures. All the important classics within the library have already been moved elsewhere. What remains are merely discarded scraps scattered on the floor. It must be said, the older the ginger, the spicier it becomes. In this way, they have managed to silence you while suffering no true loss. Yet, what the two of them do not realize is that your purpose here is not to examine the Yi family's records, but to plunder the hidden opportunity meant for Yi Shankong. According to the records of the Nine Heavens Dragon Emperor, on the highest floor of the library sits a tattered book used merely to steady a table leg, and it is, in fact, the relic of the heaven-devouring great emperor. Within its pages lies the heaven-devouring demonic art. While the two members of the family secretly gloat over their own cleverness, you have already claimed that tattered book as your own and begun your cultivation. 5 days later, in the imperial study you appear. Where have you been these past few days? Seeing his son suddenly manifest, Yi Shankong is deeply moved. To be truthful, he was terrified that something might happen to his son, for it is only through him that Ye Shankong sees any hope of escaping the shadow of the Lu family. Father, I inadvertently stumbled into a secret realm. After days of exploration, I have gained much, the greatest of which is a saint-grade inheritance. This statement is half truth and half fabrication, skillfully downplaying the reality. While there was indeed a saint-grade inheritance in that realm, the true prize was an emperor-grade divine weapon. What is the level of the saint-grade inheritance? The peak. Yi Shankong's eyes shone with intensity. Did this not mean that in the near future the Yi family would possess a peak saint-grade powerhouse? Good, very good. Yi Shankong was beyond delighted, yet he quickly offered a piece of solemn advice. Chengxian, though you possess such heaven-defying fortune, you must not become complacent. For cultivation is like rowing a boat against the current. If one does not advance, one inevitably retreats. Rest assured, Imperial Father, your son understands this well. Yi Shankong nodded in satisfaction. This son of his truly brought him peace of mind. Very well then, judging by your expression, I assume you have other matters to attend to. Go, your son thanks you, Imperial Father. Ye Chengqian's figure vanished from the spot immediately. Although he had no concrete proof, Ye Shankong knew in his heart that his son was undoubtedly going to seek out his mother. In truth, that was exactly the case. Outside the palace of the Lu family, a rhythmic chirping sounded. Not long after the secret signal was sent, a slender figure cautiously approached. Ye Chengqian, hiding in the shadows, felt a surge of excitement and reached out to embrace Lu Ruyan without a word. Yet, before his arms could close around her, Lu Ruyan slipped to the side. Ye Chengqian was stunned. He had not expected such a reaction. What is the matter today? Chengqian. That Lu Jingyuan is a man of extreme sensitivity. If I were to have contact with another man, he would surely notice. Hearing this explanation, Ye Chengqian let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, his mother's heart had not wavered. Do not be afraid, it is merely a matter of scent. I possess 100 ways to cleanse it. If it truly comes to it, we shall abandon the plan to lure the snake out of its hole. But before he could even step toward Lu Ruyan, a voice that sent a chill through his entire body reached his ears. If I heard correctly, you are the third prince, are you not? What do you intend to do? Yi Qingqian turned around with great difficulty, forcing a smile that looked even worse than crying. So it is the young master. Perhaps you are unaware that this fifth aunt of yours is actually my birth mother. I had just met with the emperor and decided to stop by to pay my respects to an elder while on my way. You smiled enigmatically, I see. In that case, I shall truly have to cherish Ruyan even more in the future. As these words left his lips, Deep Tantian's fingernails dug deep into his own palms. Luke and Uyan, you and I are irreconcilable enemies. You have stolen my wife, and we shall never coexist under the same heaven. Naturally, these were merely his inner thoughts. On the surface, he dared not reveal a shred of his true feelings, and instead he was forced to wear a joyous expression. Then I offer my deepest gratitude, young master. After muttering a few perfunctory words of well wishes, Diepthon Tien turned and departed immediately. So have you finally seen reason? Watching the retreating back of Diepthon Tien, you asked in a cold, indifferent tone. Yes, young master, I have seen reason. From this day forward, I shall dedicate myself to your service. Even if you were to command me to deal with Diepthon Tien, I would not offer a single word of objection. However, young master, I have one request. After Diepthon Tien meets his end, I hope you can grant him a proper burial. After all, he is flesh of my flesh. That is not a problem. Such a trivial matter was easily granted, yet you did not fully believe her one-sided declaration. After all, one can never truly know the heart of another. You have seen enough tales of betrayal and double agents to know that. Very well, but words are hollow. Answer one question for me and consider it your sign of loyalty. What would you ask? Where does Diepthon Tien keep his laboratory and his various inventions? It is at the Kim Lone Pavilion. It is a brothel he operates, but it is quite peculiar. It only admits those he approves of, and he never accepts repeat guests. The laboratory is hidden beneath the pavilion. When night falls, you arrive at the Kim Lone Pavilion. Young master, you have finally arrived. The Kim Lone Pavilion has been closed for the past few days just for your visit. The maidens inside are practically turning to stone waiting for you. Let me whisper this to you. The women here are all still pure. Diepthon Tien's face was composed, yet he thought to himself, for you did not come alone. The slender Lu Ruyan was following closely by your side. Luke Canuyan, are you truly handing me such an opportunity? If that is the case, then do not blame me for being discourteous. I do not believe that when you are occupied, you can still keep my mother by your side. Thinking of this, a cold azure light flashed in Diepthon Tien's eyes. Whether you would succumb to the temptations within was never a matter of concern for him. In his eyes, the people of this world were nothing but bumpkins. How could they possibly resist the sight of women in form-fitting spaghetti-strap dresses and red-bottomed high heels? And the reality seemed to align with his predictions. As the three of you stepped into the main hall of the Kim Lone Pavilion, your gaze indeed froze, though the reason for your shock was entirely different from what Diepthon Tien had imagined. Incredible, has this fellow truly managed? A crystal chandelier hung from the ceiling of the grand hall. Its presence alone instantly elevated the prestige of this place by several tiers. While you were lost in silent admiration, a woman dressed in a deep-cut black evening gown, possessing a peerless figure and elegant posture, approached the three of you. Boss, the moon-gazing pavilion is prepared. Ye Chenqian waved his hand. Lead the way. We shall be there immediately. As they walked, he leaned in close to curry favor. Young master, what do you think of the quality? Feigning the persona of a lecher, you nodded without a moment's hesitation. Bright, very bright. Not only is the figure beautiful, but the lamps are quite large as well. Right, the attire these ladies are wearing. Would it be possible to send a few sets to my residence later? So saying, you draped your arm over Ye Chengxian's shoulder. The display of enthusiasm was such that one might believe you were about to swear a brotherhood oath with him. A trivial matter, truly. That is easily done. There is no need for a few sets. I shall have my people deliver 100 sets to your mansion shortly. That would be excellent. The two of you talked as you walked, quickly arriving at the place known as the Moon-Gazing Pavilion. Contrary to the extravagance of the exterior, the room was illuminated only by a few small purple nightlights. Furthermore, the hue of the lights shifted incessantly. Damnation, is this not simply a karaoke room? It seems that before he transmigrated, this doctor of engineering did not frequent such clubs. His imagination was truly limited. Though you felt disdain in your heart, your words transformed into not bad, not bad. This room is sufficiently dim, ensuring our activities will not be disturbed later. Right, Chengxian, where is the entertainment you prepared? Let us begin at once. Glancing at your eager expression, a flash of contempt flickered in Ye Chengqian's eyes. After spending time together, he had concluded that this supreme young master was nothing more than a lecherous fiend. Furthermore, being the heir to the prime minister, as long as he had weaknesses, he could be exploited. Even a great emperor is nothing if they have a chink in their armor. At this moment, Ye Chengxian was burning with ambition, as if he could already see himself overthrowing the Lu family's hegemony over the central region. Lu Jingyun, enjoy your arrogance for a while longer. You never expected this, did you? I am also an heir to the prime minister. Once I have eradicated you, I will personally take care of your women for you. At the sound of applause, a group of scantily clad women, with legs longer than their own fates, walked in one after another. Boss, good evening. Young master, are you satisfied? You waved your hand dismissively. Bring in another group. They are not to my taste. In truth, you did not need to speak. Ye Chengqian had already deduced as much. This group consisted entirely of naive young girls, which did not suit your particular palate. Unfortunately, the second group still did not offer what you were looking for. Chengqian, your Jinluan pavilion is not as impressive as you claim, is it? The moment your complaint was uttered, Ye Chengqian panicked immediately. He was not afraid of your fury, but rather that you would grow bored and depart. Should that happen, he would find no path back to his original goal. Young master, wait a moment. I shall go out and make the arrangements. No sooner had he stepped out of the room than he lowered his voice to bark. How are you people running this establishment? Are you attempting to test the patience of our officials with these young girls? What kind of official could possibly endure such a test? The person being scolded, pointed at by the finger of accusation, was the beauty who had guided you inside earlier. Her name was Wei Rian. She was the manager of Jinluan Pavilion and a trusted confidante of Ye Chengqian. Because of this, she showed no signs of fear. Young master, you are wronging me in this matter. Those who just entered are among our finest beauties. Yi Chengqian knew she had yet to grasp your particular tastes, so he leaned in to whisper, this guest has a unique preference. The next group brought in must include expectant mothers. Having said this, he prepared to return to the room, but Wei Ruyan poured a bucket of cold water over his plans. Young master, our Jinluan Pavilion possesses no such women. From the beginning, you issued a strict decree to accept only those who are virgins. Even if someone loses their innocence here, they must be paid off and sent away immediately. Yi Chengqian paused, his tone dark and ominous as he asked, not even one? There truly is not a single one. Wei Ruyan expected the young master to brainstorm a solution with her, but instead she was met with a cold, heartless command. If you do not have any, then you shall step up yourself. Remember to change into a mother figure dress before entering and add stockings and lace-up high heels. Only then will your charm be fully unleashed. As the heir to the prime minister, Ye Chengqian certainly understood the ways of the world, but after hearing these words, Wei Ruyan remained frozen. You are asking me to entertain the guest? How could this man be so heartless? Only yesterday he swore by the heavens and earth, saying that as long as the mountains and rivers remained, he would never betray her heart. What, you refuse? Let me tell you, today by any means necessary you must let the man inside claim your maidenhead, and you must ensure that he does not leave your sight for the entire night. Otherwise I shall cast you into the slums. Fine. I will go, is that what you want? Having said that, Wei Ruyan immediately ran toward the changing room not far away. Inside there were all sorts of things, but the moment she turned around, her expression suddenly shifted. The anguish vanished without a trace, replaced by an icy, boundless coldness. Yi Chengqian, since you have acted without humanity, do not blame me for being heartless. Is the arrangement ready? Your expression in the room seemed somewhat impatient. Your demeanor was as if you could flick your sleeves and leave at any moment. This performance had truly deceived Yi Chengqian, whose reason had been completely obliterated. Do not be impatient, young master. In 3 minutes at most, the person who enters will certainly be to your liking. And so Wei Ruyan followed instructions, donning a trailing purple stepmother-style gown as she stepped into the room. Within Yi Chengqian's heart, he felt even more at ease. The progression of events was almost identical to what he had imagined. Upon seeing Wei Ruyan, you revealed a lecherous face. The only thing that bothered him was that you were playing a game of holding one in each arm. You held Wei Ruyan in your embrace while refusing to let go of his mother. Young master, are you satisfied with this one? Satisfied, very satisfied. Chengqian, rest assured, I will not forget what happened today. On the surface, you appeared possessed, as if drool were about to pour from your mouth, but inside, you were beaming with delight. Others may not know the true value of Wei Ruyan, thinking she is merely a beautiful proprietress, but as the bearer of the Nine Heavens Dragon Emperor legacy, you know very well just how formidable this woman is. She and Lu Ruyan are both Ye Chengqian's right-hand women, but Wei Ruyan's true talent lies in internal administration. A few years later, when Ye Chengqian ascended the throne as emperor, this woman was appointed prime minister. Her capabilities were immense, and she was even regarded by Ye Chengqian as one of the 5 tigers of the era. Yi Chengqian? Yi Chengqian, you are digging your own grave. In just a few minutes, Wei Ruyan's patience will crumble. Proprietress, let us share a glass of wine. Yi Chengqian could no longer stand by and quickly jumped in to assist. That is right, young master. I have prepared a room for you upstairs. If you can no longer restrain yourself, please go there to rest. As he spoke these words, his face was filled with excitement. Unfortunately, you did not follow his script. You brat, what do you know? Fine delicacies must be savored slowly. If one is too direct, where is the fun in that? Having said that, you continued to amuse yourself, no longer paying any mind to Ye Chengqian, until a loud
You jumped up in shock but peeped closely, and it's all an act. That barely concealed smirk is a dead giveaway, my guy. Normally with Ye Chengqian's cunning, he'd smell the BS a mile away. But right now bro's got zero bandwidth for details. Because he just clocked that the explosion came from underground. Lab emergency, all random thoughts yeeted into the abyss. He bows slightly, looking all sorts of worried. Young master. Sounds like trouble in the underground storage? My bad for interrupting your vibe, he says. You wave it off, business first, fam. I was heading out anyway. Oh yeah, this girl? I'm taking her with me. You cool with that? Ye Chengqian is internally screaming, but he grits his teeth and nods. If the young master is so inclined, then please, by all means, take her. That's the cue you've been waiting for. So without hesitation, you grab a hand on each and dip out of that dumpster fire. Young master, all this chaos tonight. You orchestrated it, didn't you? Gotta give it to Wei Ruyan, she's sharp AF. She pieced it together quick. Sometimes it pays to play dumb, or else you're gonna end up 6 feet underground. Hearing the veiled threat, Wei Ruyan just laughs. The young master wouldn't kill me. You raise an eyebrow, and what makes you so sure? You don't think you can just bank on that body to save your life, do you? Of course not, this is just skin. With the young master's status, you can get any beauty you want. My confidence comes from up here, taps head. You were about to drop some more wisdom on this female strategist when bam, a little shadow materializes beside you. Instant near-death experience for both girls. They thought they got exposed. Ye Chengxian sent a hitman to intercept, but you're chillin'. All done?
Yep, it's your guardian.
Qingru. Yes, young master. Everything from the lab that could be moved is already in the spatial bag. Whatever couldn't be moved, I smashed to bits. Oh yeah, young master. I also grabbed a Saint-tier cultivator. If I am not wrong, he should be Ye Chengxian's uncle. Talk about a package deal. Now you're grinning like a maniac. Devouring heaven magic. This legendary technique is gonna have its moment. Ye Chengxian, bet you never saw this coming. Your trump card is about to become my EXP. Has the mess in the royal study been cleaned up yet? Hearing the door open, Ye Chengxiang, who was flipping through books, immediately asks. Obvious that he is aware about what happened at Jinlong Hall already. As the Xuantian emperor, nothing in this Xuantian city can escape his eyes. Ye Chengxian forces a smile that's uglier than crying. The matter is resolved, but the lab is completely gone. A flash of anger flickers in Ye Chengkong's eyes. The importance of that lab? He knows better than anyone. No exaggeration. Even if a saint-level expert offered to trade for it, he'd refuse without hesitation. But this S-tier lab is reduced to dust. And the perp is still running wild? If we mobilize the whole nation, how long to rebuild it? About a month. Ye Chengkong breathes a sigh of relief. Thank God it's not too long. Right, Chengxian. Who do you think the culprit is? Ye Chengxian stays silent. He's been pondering this all day with zero answers. Ye Chengkong is pissed at his useless son, sighing. You really didn't notice Lu Jingyuan's appearance was way too convenient? Ye Chengxian freezes, his entire body trembling a few seconds later. Father, are you saying Lu Jingyuan went to Jinluan Pavilion, not for fun, but to distract me? Ye Chengkong smiles, satisfied. Finally, the gears are turning. Isn't it obvious at this point? Don't forget you had a quasi-saint protecting your lab. In this whole Xuantian city, who besides Lu Jingyuan's people can silently off a quasi-saint? Ye Chengkong pauses, then gives some heavy advice. Chengxian, some things you need to let go. If you can't, shelve them for now. When you're stronger, flip the table. Clearly, another reminder. Ye Chengxian understands, but changes the topic. Father, what do we do next? This time Ye Chengkong is silent. Your intentions are clear. Slice off pieces and slowly devour those two. With the Lu family's backing, this is a checkmate. But as the Emperor, Ye Chengkong won't sit still. No path forward? Then we'll forge one ourselves. Looks like we gotta cut through this mess quick. Ye Chengxian is shocked. Before he can speak, Ye Chengkong interrupts. That's right. I want to kill this so-called young master. But no reckless moves. Best way is to lure Lu Jingyuan into a secret realm that suppresses cultivation. Where he can scream all he wants, and no one will hear. Ye Chengxian offers no objections, just gives Ye Chengkong a thumbs up. Coincidentally, I happen to have such a secret realm on hand. These two get